Welcome back to another live stream, guys. Today we've got the Mighty Blues. Cam, how are you doing, mate?
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. Thank you very much for having me on. Been a long time coming. Been wanting to come on the channel for since you started really, and you first asked me. So yeah, I'm not too bad. Not so much looking forward to this game tomorrow, but got to play everyone. So we'll see how it goes. How are you?
I'm all right, cheers, mate. We'll talk about the team news before we talk about City and the Fulham game previously. So, team news, everyone's back fit. Pickford's having a late fitness test, and DCL will be out for the game, but he will probably be a doubt for Saturday's game against the Copites. So how are you feeling about that?
Well, obviously, other than Dom and Gabaman, who again is a long story, everybody seems fit. Carlo did say that if Jordan Pickford returns, if he's fit, he'll return to the starting lineup, which I think has wound a couple of Evertonians up. But I put Dom in my predicted starting 11 in our preview because I expected him to be fit, purely because Carlo said, "Oh, he'll be back next week. It's only a small issue." I understand that he's not back, and it is a problem. It's a worry because, again, obviously he's our top goal scorer this season. He's been absolutely excellent. He's firing on all cylinders, and in front of goal, he is our biggest threat. We see Richarlison sort of find some form against Tottenham Hotspur last week, but then wasn't in the game whatsoever on Sunday against Fulham. So again, it's a big chance for the likes of Richarlison to step up. Josh King, maybe if he gets a start, to step up. Iwobi, I'm sure he'll probably be in there as well. So he's a big miss. Of course, he is a big miss, but if he's being rested for the look ahead of the Merseyside derby, and so that he comes into the Merseyside derby at 100%. I mean, I'd rather have a 100% Dominic Calvert-Lewin in a Merseyside derby and I'm out of this one rather than a 50% against City and a 50% against Liverpool. I think if we'd have beaten Fulham on Sunday, I think we'd have all sat here and said, look, this City game is very much a free hit. They're a very good team. As long as we give it 110%, whatever happens. Whereas now, obviously there's a little bit more into it because of the Fulham result. But yeah, it's disappointing. But again, like I said, you don't want to risk somebody like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, especially if he's not 100% fit.
Yeah, totally agree, mate, because you just don't want Calvert-Lewin to be out for these two big games. But
no,
I'd rather want Calvert-Lewin to start against Liverpool than City, because we just want to get a result at Anfield, to be fair, because, we haven't won since 99. And I'd quite start Josh King for this game coming.
Yeah.
So that's my insight of it. So let's talk about the Fulham game then. Have you recovered after what happened?
You know what? I've been watching Everton for 20 odd years now. I've seen a lot of bad performances. I've seen a lot of bad results, and I've also been through a childhood of growing up and seeing these bad results and not being able to get over it and not being able to recover, and it ruining your week and it ruining your, sometimes your fortnight and sometimes your month if we get beat to certain teams, which we won't mention. And because of that, because I've seen it all far too much and I've let it affect me far too much, it usually doesn't do too much to me now. If we get beat, if we put in a bad performance, the couple of hours after the game, I'm not in a very good mood. But after that, the next morning, I'm usually all right. I sit down, I'll talk about the game, and I'll just think, move forward. So I have recovered in the sense of that. I've moved on from it. Obviously, it was a shocking performance. It was a shocking result. It just seemed very, everybody just seemed like they couldn't be bothered being there. They didn't want to be on the pitch. They didn't want to get involved. There was no energy. There was no passion. And Alex Iwobi spoke a couple of weeks back after the Leeds game, and he said, we lost to Fulham because we lost to Newcastle because we took our foot off the gas a little bit, and we become a little bit complacent. And I think for him to come out and say that, and then 3 weeks later us come out and do the exact same thing against Fulham, is worrying, because it shows that these players aren't learning the lesson. It shows that they're not looking at every game and thinking, right, we need to come into this as if we're playing Barcelona in a Champions League final, because I said it before on our stream, champions and teams that win titles and teams that win leagues and players that win titles, they all say the same thing after every game. You'll hear Manchester City tomorrow if they beat Everton. You'll hear them in the next couple of weeks or so. The the reporters, the journalists, the interviewers will be saying the same thing. Do you think you've won it now? Have you won the league? Have you won the league? And they'll all say it's one game at a time. We take it game by game by game, and they treat every game like a cup final, and that's why they're so ruthless with goal scoring without conceding, because every game, whether they play Fulham, whether they play Man United, whether they play Liverpool, every game is a cup final to them. Whereas I think Everton, a couple of times this season, specifically the players, have fell into that mindset of just sort of being like, yeah, we'll beat these today because these aren't very good. And I think that was a case on Sunday. So judging that and having a look at that and thinking, well, hang on, these players just got maybe a little bit too big for their boots and become a little bit complacent. And I do think Carlo is to blame for parts of it as well, tactically. I'm sure we'll go on to that in a moment. But yeah, I've sort of just moved on, mate, to be honest with you. I think another game tomorrow night, which is one that, again, I think we have to move on quickly to, because it's going to be very, very difficult. But yeah, it's just Everton, isn't it, really? How are you feeling after it? Have you moved on? Are you sort of still a little bit frustrated?
We need to be beating teams like that, though, to be fair. We could be top 4 if we beating those teams.
Yeah.
Because we've got City, which is our game in hand, as well as Villa away. We're 7 games unbeaten away, so hopefully we can get a result out of Anfield. So this game, we treat big games like we play well. We perform against big teams. But with the smaller teams, we get too cocky at times, to be fair, and we misplace. So going into this Man City game, what do you reckon?
Listen, it's going to be very, very, very difficult. I was thinking the other day, and I thought, you put the 3 games in a line in front of Evertonians, and you say, right, you've got Fulham, you've got City, you've got Liverpool, and you asked Evertonians which was the most important game to win. Obviously, I'm sure our hearts would say Liverpool because it's a Merseyside derby, and if you were to ask me, you can only win one, it would be Liverpool and Anfield. But realistically, the answer's Fulham, because Fulham was the easiest fixture. Fulham was the fixture that we should have turned up. It should have been comfortable. We should have controlled the game. We should have got forward, created chances, and won that game. And then you sort of look at City tomorrow and you think, you know what, they're a very, very good side. They're brilliant. They haven't drawn a game for about 5-6 weeks, something like that. So whatever happens. And then you go into Liverpool, which obviously is a Merseyside derby and very, very difficult. But we didn't come into the Fulham game like that. I think we sort of overlooked Fulham. For me, Manchester City are a side that even if you put 110% in, even if you are the best that you can be, even if you show fight, you show spirit, you show energy, you show passion, it's still going to be very, very difficult to get a result out of, because they are exceptional. They are by far the best team in this league by a country mile. And for me personally, there is no title race. Forget Man United. Man United are dropping points to silly teams. Forget Liverpool. They're dropping points constantly. Forget West Ham, as good as they've been, they'll drop off. Man City are ruthless, and that's what champions do. They go out and they win games of football in a ruthless manner, and they take no prisoners. Having said that, and you're probably going to think, well, you're contradicting yourself, and are you silly? Are you okay? But I would not be surprised if Everton turned up tomorrow and got a result. And I'm saying that because Everton at times this season, Carlo Ancelotti's done a lot of things for Everton, and I've seen some criticism over the last 24 hours. I've even seen Marco Silva's name get thrown into the equation, which makes me just want to go back to bed, to be honest with you. But there's a lot of things Carlo Ancelotti's brought to Everton in his year and a couple of months that he's been here, and one of them is a reaction after losing a game of football. Very rarely, other than that little stint at the start of the season, do we go on a bad sort of run of form. If we put in a bad performance, i.e. West Ham at home, i.e. Fulham at home, i.e. Newcastle, then we usually bounce back the next week. We bounce back after West Ham, we beat Wolves away, bounce back after Newcastle, we beat Leeds. So I'm expecting a reaction from this Everton team. I'm expecting Carlo Ancelotti and Duncan Ferguson to demand the reaction. So don't be surprised if we turn up and we're absolutely exceptional, and you look at us and you think, why couldn't we perform like that on Sunday against Fulham? But also, even if we do put in an exceptional performance and we do give everything, still doesn't guarantee a win against this Manchester City side, because they're so good. So it's difficult to call, to be honest, mate. I'd say expect Everton to turn up, because again, it just is Everton, isn't it? Don't turn up against Fulham at Goodison Park when we should beat them, and turn up against the side that are running away with the league at the moment. And plus, if we don't turn up and we perform like we did against Fulham, it will be a cricket score. It will be an absolute cricket score. And again, I don't think the manager will stand for that. So it's going to be tough. It really, really is. I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest with you. But we'll see where we are tomorrow night, I suppose.
Defo. So after that horrible performance on Sunday night, who do you reckon should be dropped? Even with the players who we've got fit, do you reckon we should risk the chance going into Anfield, or do you reckon we should bring them in? Because I know DCL Gunnaben and Pickford might be out.
Yeah, obviously Carlo Ancelotti's at his press conference today. He said that the only definite outs are Gbamin and Dom, but they could return for Saturday's game against Liverpool. He said that Pickford will
Hello. What's going on? Anyway, we'll get back to Cam. We're just having some technical difficulties, but I think going into this Man City game, I think we should be performing. I think we will be. I think we'll be performing well, to be fair, and I just think we could perform because I think Ancelotti will give a good spring to the team. So I'll add Cam back 1 second. Sorry, guys. Sorry, everyone. Cam's mic's just freezing. But anyway, going into this game, I think, like I said, we'll perform well. But on the other side, City can hit us really badly. Right, here's Cam. Hello. Oh, hello. Is your mic working? No. This game, it's we need to take games seriously, to be fair. So we'll go into the comments and 5-0. Really? Hey, mate. Hi, Everton watchers. Hope you're doing well. So talk about a different subject now. I reckon King should be given a chance, to be fair.
Hello.
He deserves it. Hello.
Hello, I'm back. I don't know what happened there. Connection just decided to kill the microphone off there. Yeah. Sorry, mate. Yeah, I was just basically saying, I think Alan's the big one, to be honest with you. Obviously, he was on the bench on Sunday against Fulham. It is a risk to put him back in because these are a very, very good physical side, obviously. But I think for me, in terms of players dropped, I'd take Gomez out, I'd take Sigurdsson out. And Alan would be straight back in for me because he's our best midfielder. He breaks the play up. He does a job that nobody else does. Okay, Tom Davies has done okay at doing it recently, but nowhere near as good as Alan does it. So for me, I'd have Alan straight back in there. Sorry about that, mate. Technical difficulties.
No, it's fine. Honest to God, it's all good. So do you reckon King should start this game?
There's definitely a shout for him to start. I think the front three, obviously, without Calvert-Lewin, will look something along the lines of Richarlison, James, and then either King or Iwobi. I thought he'd done okay when he come on against Fulham. I don't think he done an awful lot. Obviously, he had one run with the ball, and he was tackled, and then he put one in the back of the net, but it was offside. I I think he should, because I really would like him to. I'd like him to see him from the off. I'd like to see Josh King grow into a game for 10 or 15 minutes and then see how he does for the rest of it, rather than coming on with 10 or 15 minutes to go and not really having not really having a lot of time to do much. But if I'm being honest, I think he's going to go with Iwobi over Josh King, to be perfectly honest with you. But I'd like to see Josh King in there from the start.
Yeah, to be fair, that's a good point, to be fair. So, this season in general, how do you rate it?
I think it's been decent, to be fair. Look, it's been very up and down, and we've had some awful performances and awful losses, like the one against Fulham. I think the thing is with this season is we're 3 points behind the side that are currently in fourth, that being Liverpool, and Liverpool fans can joke all they like about how bad they've been, but there was a 50-point gap difference between Everton and Liverpool last season, and now it's 3 points and we've still got 2 games in hand. And you look at the games that we've lost this season or that we've dropped points from, you look at Fulham at Goodison, you look at Newcastle at Goodison, Newcastle away, we should have beaten Leeds at Goodison Park, Burnley away from home, 6 games there. If we'd have won all of those 6 games, and it's not like I'm saying Man United away or Liverpool at home, it's not like I'm picking difficult games. I'm talking about games that we expect to win. And if we win all of those games, we're in a title race with Manchester City in February. So it has been very frustrating at times, certainly times like, the Fulham game, but I think overall it's been a very, very good season. It is still a progression season. We need, we have to keep reminding ourselves that, there's it's still sort of a season for improvement, and we can improve further and we will improve further. But like I said, if you take away the negative, some of the good performances have been very, very good, and coming back at Old Trafford is something that Everton don't usually do. The win against Tottenham is something that Everton don't usually do, either in the Prem or in the FA Cup. So I think it's been a decent season so far, mate. Could it be better? Of course it could, and it probably should be better given some of the games that we've lost. But I think in the grand scheme of things, it's been good.
So where did Ancelotti get it wrong on Sunday then?
Tactically, I think he got it wrong, to be honest with you. I think the starting 11 was... I don't think he should have put Sigurdsson, Gomez and James in the same team. I think the 3 of them are luxury players. I think the 3 of them are, fantastic on the ball, very good on the ball. Certainly James, Sigurdsson and Gomez are decent on the ball, but off the ball, they all don't offer much whatsoever. And when you've got 3 of them in a midfield and forward line that includes 6 players, and 3 of them are players that don't really do much movement off the ball, it was never going to work against an energetic midfield of Fulham. So I think he got the team selection wrong. I think tactics, I think he got wrong as well. Why we were sitting back at Goodison Park to Fulham is a bit beyond me. We should have, ultimately been going for the game there. We should have been attacking in the same ways that we did against Leeds in the first half for me. And I also think substitutions he got wrong. Why Tom Davies was taken off is absolutely beyond me. If you're going to take Mason Holgate out of the centre-back partnership, then why put him at right-back? Just take him out. He was having an awful game. He wasn't great whatsoever. So if you're going to make the point of saying, right, you're not good enough to play there, then take him out the entire team and speak to him on the sideline and say, you weren't good enough today, you need to come out. And to take off a player in Tom Davies, who I think was our most energetic player, was a bit silly for me. But I also think the players have to take some responsibility. Look, we still started with 8 or 9 international players, and they put in that performance against the side that are fighting in the relegation zone, and that's not good enough whatsoever. And ultimately, Carlo Ancelotti will have been sat there after the Leeds game and thought, right, okay, I've told these players that dropping your level of performance and being complacent and walking around thinking you've automatically won a game before it started isn't good enough. So I don't need to tell him that again. I think he's been reminded now that he constantly needs to tell this team that, because again, they've gone out and they've just thought that Fulham would be an easy walk in the park, and it wasn't.
Defo. So we'll talk about our starting 11 now. I'm putting you on the spot now, but who wants to go first, maybe?
Go on, you can go first, mate, and we'll go with yours, and then I'll go with mine.
I'll go with Olsen in goal. I'll go with Chris left back. I think we need to get Yeri back, to be fair.
Okay.
Put Godfrey next to him. Holgate right back. I thought Coleman, when he plays, he was dreadful. I'm picking Nava Decore or the Scouse Perlo, as I call him, Tom Davis. I think Decore needs a rest at some point. but
Yeah.
Carl over-rotated the squad the other day. So I don't know what to do. I'll probably stick the core in with Alan because they know each other dead well. I'll stick Richie on the left, James at 10, Awobi on the right, and Josh King up top.
Brilliant. Fair enough. I'm going to go with, well, to be fair, I'd have thought Olsen starting, but I'm going to say Pickford because I think Pickford will be fit. And I think, well, he said today if Pickford's fit, he'll play. So I'm going to go with Pickford in goal. I'm going to go with a back line of Luca Dean at left back, Yerry Mina and Michael Keane at centre half with Ben Godfrey at right back. Yerry Mina and Michael Keane have had an excellent partnership so far this season. They've been taken out recently and swapped and chopped and changed, and I don't think that's particularly helped anyone, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go with them two to be back in the centre back partnership, and then Ben Godfrey at right back. I think he's been excellent this season. Struggled against Fulham at centre half because I don't think he was really comfortable with Mason Holgate next to him. And I think Mason needs to come out because he's had a couple of really poor performances recently. He just seems to be struggling at the moment. Midfield, I'm going with Alan, Abdoulaye Doucouré, and I'm going to go with James in the 10. Doucouré and Alan sort of, reigniting that partnership of earlier on in the season where Doucouré's doing all of the sort of running and picking the ball up and adding that physicality, and Alan's doing the dirty work sort of behind him. James, of course, being the creator. Look, we can say what we like about James not doing enough the other day against Fulham, but ultimately, if we're going to create anything in this game tomorrow, James Rodriguez needs to be there because he is our creator. He is our creative outlook. Nobody else creates like him. I mean, you could say Luca Dean does, but in terms of from just areas in the pitch where you don't expect it, James needs to be there. And then front three, I'm going to go with Richie up front. I'm going to go with Awobi on the right, and I'm going to go with, I don't know. My heart wants to say Josh King, but my head says Bernard. I don't know whether he'll give Bernard a go because of all of the, the positivity recently in the goal against Man United. The goal against Tottenham Hotspur. No, I'm going to go with Josh King. He mentioned Josh King and he said Josh King will start games this season. I think it'll be a big opportunity for him. Like I said, I'm not a massive fan of bringing players on with 10 or 15 minutes to go and then us judging them because sometimes it takes players 5 or 10 minutes to grow into a game, and then after that point, he's got a couple of minutes to do something, and it's very difficult to do that. Certainly against Fulham, that game was lost when Josh King entered the pitch. He was brought on, and as much as we can sit here saying, he should have done more or he should have this, that, the other, that game was lost when he was brought on. He was brought into a team that were defeated. So I'd like to see him start from the off and see what he can bring from, the first minute. So I'll go with King, Richarlison as the striker, or King as the striker, whichever one. I think they're interchangeable, and then Awobi on the right.
So here's the last two questions. Score predictions for tomorrow's game.
I'm going to go with 1-1. 1-1, mate. I'm optimistic. I can sit here and say we'll get battered 6-0, 5-0. If we play like we did against Fulham, I think it'll be about 12-0. But I just think Everton will turn up. I just think Everton will fight. I think we'll battle. I think we'll show passion. And I think we'll have a reaction from that defeat to Fulham. And I might be wrong, and you might all sit there on Monday night on Alfie's stream or my stream, and not Monday night, Thursday night on Alfie's stream or my stream, and think, wait, Cam, you were absolutely wrong. We got battered there. We could get battered. This is a game that could very much go on multiple different ways. If we don't turn up and we don't show fight, we will get our bottoms handed to us, and it'll be comfortable for Manchester City. But if we show a bit of fight, if we show a reaction, if we show a bit of energy, I think we can nick something out of the game. And I'm never going to predict Everton to lose, so I'm going to go with 1-1.
I reckon it'll be 1-1 or 2-1 City. But every time I predict Everton to lose, we always win. So
I'll take that, mate. I'll take that. I think one thing, just before we move on from that, I think one thing to note is Carlo Ancelotti said in his press conference today that he spoke about the fact that we tried to play a little bit more expansively against Tottenham and Man United and Fulham. He said, yes, we conceded goals, but we also scored 8 against Man United and Tottenham. And he said, whereas tomorrow, I think we're going to have to be a little bit more defensive. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the back line that myself and Alfie have chose. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a back line of 5 at the back. I wouldn't be surprised if we seen Godfrey at left back, Meenan and Keane at centre back, and Holgate at right back. But I do think our main focus will be defending tomorrow, and if we do manage to get a goal, it'll be hit on the counter attack. So I think we have to focus on not allowing them to just run rings around us and score openly like they have been doing.
So, last question for the derby then. Olsen or Pickford in goal?
Well, let's wait and see. Look, we've got a massive game tomorrow against Man City, and if Olsen starts, if Pickford's deemed unfit and Olsen starts, then I'd have Olsen in for the derby as well. If Pickford starts and puts in a blinder of a performance and is absolutely excellent, then I think you go with Pickford, to be honest with you. But like I said, let's wait and see what happens tomorrow and who starts tomorrow. But yeah, it's Pickford isn't. I'm not the biggest fan of Pickford at Anfield.
I'm not. Gundogan is unlikely to play. He's been on form recently.
Yeah, that's a positive for us if that's true, because he's been absolutely excellent recently. He's been fantastic.
Why are we getting away though? I don't get why we beat all these massive teams away, then sit back again against relegation side Fulham being then. Exactly, Everton clips.
Spot on.
We'll wrap it up there, Cam. Thanks for joining us, and thank you everyone for getting involved in the comments section. Make sure you like, subscribe, and link to Cam's socials is in the description. Cheers for being on here.
Thank you very much for having me, mate. Really loved it. Looking forward to getting back on it at some point in the future. Sorry about the little technical difficulty there. Not too sure what my mic was doing. But yeah, looking forward to getting back on in the future. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Leave it a like. Follow all of the social medias. You can check us out if you want as well. But yeah, massive thanks for having me on, mate.
Cheers, Cam. Up to toffees.